I'm Brandon.
I'm Jordan.
I'm Ramsey. I'm Dave.
And we are the Ciaramitaros. So when I was 11 years old, a gentleman would stop by my house and pick up my uncle and I and take us to church, a little small country church in Strayhorn, Mississippi. And I learned about the gospel of Jesus in that church, and several Wednesday nights went on, and I just continued to hear the gospel and what it meant to be a sinner. And so one night I was convicted of my sins, and I prayed that God would save me and forgive me of my sins. And so lots happened since 11 years old, but later in life, I guess in my mid-20s, I really took a leap of faith and started studying the scripture and surrounded myself with other believers. And it's amazing what happens whenever you do that, because it truly is life-changing when you surround yourself with other believers.
I became a believer when I was around 7 or 8. I can't remember my exact age, but I remember I was in Crowder Baptist Church, the church that I grew up in, and I remember walking that aisle and telling my pastor at the time, that I had some things going on in my heart and on my mind that I've been thinking about, and so I met with him and met with my parents, and that was when I was baptized after that. But there was a time in my life, it was shortly after Brandon and I got married, where I was just unsure because I had made that decision so young. And I remember one night Brandon and I were talking about it, and we were in our bedroom in our first house on Georgia Street in Batesville, and I just, I felt like I was a Christian, but I was just so young when I made that decision that I just was scared that I wasn't. And so he and I on our bed that night sat there and prayed, and so it was after that I really started following Christ better and getting more into the Word, and that I really grew in my relationship with the Lord.
In December of 2020, we moved to Brookhaven to take on a new career opportunity for me, and Jordan, she was just kind of along for the ride, and we both had faith that we were making the right decision, and that's exactly what it was, a leap of faith. Much prayer and consideration led to the decision to leave our home in Batesville and move to Brookhaven, where we knew just a few people. And so we knew it was of the Lord, because we just didn't, there wasn't a lot of other things pointing in the direction to move and leading us here other than just the will of God. And so we moved here, and we've been here for a couple of years now, and we're just excited about what the future holds.
All right, but I want the goods now. How did y'all two meet?
So one Christmas night, we were both lonely.
You have to edit out my god-awful laugh.
Yeah, that's great. It's great.
So here's the goods. I was probably not living for the Lord, and just knew that He had bigger things in store for me. And I started to pray for a wife, and I did that for a good while. And it's kind of, I guess it's not by coincidence that on Christmas Day, Jordan and I really started hanging out, and that was Christmas of 2010. Right, yeah, that's right.
No, 2011.
Okay, good. Well, that was the next year. So anyway, it didn't take me long to realize that she was the one for me, and who God had in store for me, and all the prayers were answered, and there soon after we were engaged, and it was totally unexpected by her, and I swept her off her feet. She couldn't resist but to say yes.
In a duck field in Crowder, Mississippi.
In a duck field.
A duck field?
I knew I had to take her to her family land, because that's what she loved the most, and her family. And so I planned it. Her sister hid in a duck blind and took pictures of us while I got on one knee on a turn rope and gave a ring to her. We both cried, and it was a special night.
That is awesome.
We were blessed to be a part of two wonderful churches, Crowder Baptist Church from Jordan's hometown, and then First Baptist Batesville, and just wonderful people around us who loved the Lord and truly knew what it meant to serve and to worship, and just so many special things from both of those churches, so many special people. And so we knew exactly what we were looking for. And so we visited other churches in Brookhaven, wonderful places, and could have settled in either one, but we felt that God was leading us to Hikes Retreat, and we started to visit there, and we just fell in love. It felt like home. It felt like where we needed to be. And so not long thereafter, we decided to join a church.
I'd say what we were looking for in a church was a church that we could serve in and serve with, and a church that would suit the needs of both Brandon and I, as well as our children. I think that it's important to surround ourselves with parents like us and people of our age that are walking through the same steps of life we are, but also the elders who are there for us to look up to and to mentor to us.
When we first moved here, we signed Ramsey up for soccer, and Jonathan was our coach who knew nothing about soccer. But he loved the children, and he would encourage them, and anyway, he and I just developed a good friendship. We connected several dots from mutual friends, and also he played college football and I played college football, and so like a couple of meatheads, we just fell right in together. And so that's how we heard about Hikes Retreat, and he kept recruiting me like a college recruiter, and he's like, hey man, you guys need to come visit. I think you'd like what we have to offer. And he even offered me money one time. So we decided to come and visit Hikes Retreat.
You got that NIL deal?
Yeah, signed me up for an NIL deal. All the anyway, my good jokes are gone for the day. So.
First, I've never felt so welcome in a church. We visited churches in the move between our first church as a couple, Crowder Baptist, to Batesville. We visited churches, and we visited churches here, but we were just really welcomed at Hikes. You know, everybody was just, it seemed like people were excited that we were there and really wanted to get to know us. It felt like home to me. Crowder Baptist Church is a really small town church in the middle of nowhere, and something about Hikes just reminds me of Crowder Baptist, and it just feels like home to me.
So the reason that I wanted to become a member, move our family to Hikes Retreat, is because, I really felt a lot of pressure from Jonathan. He kept asking us when we were going to join, and I'm like, hey man, you just let God do his thing. Get out of the way.
There was one Sunday when he said something about joining, and then he looked over, and Betsy was in front of us, and she started laughing and turned around and was like, I think that was a jab to y'all.
So, but no, we wanted to join for all the right reasons. We believe in what Paul taught about how the church should operate and all the members of the body. And so we find all of those things at Hikes Retreat, and we couldn't be more excited to be a member here. I believe that God's moving in the church. I think a lot of special things are happening with the children's ministry and the youth ministry, and all the new families, and just the Spirit of God is moving through the church. And so, it's exciting to be a part of that and all the good things that are happening. And we're just excited to be able to serve and be a part of what's going on.
I like Vacation Bible School and GAs, and I I like that we celebrate that God sent Jesus down to earth to die for our sins.
Hey, if you're sitting out there and you're contemplating whether this is the right place for you or not, we urge you to pray and spend much time doing that. But ultimately, hey, it's time to get on the good side of the fence. Come join the church, walk down the aisle, tell the preacher you want a movie membership, or just join the church and be a part of the special things that are going on. I think you'll be excited about the future and what we have in store. I think it's all I got.
That's all I got.